All right, where we left off, we have quite a bit of data that we're sifting through to determine what our next steps were going to be with our respective committees and what we would bring to the negotiations for additional period supplements. With that, Justin and Gordon, do you have anything to add from all the data that you were able to review and all the research that we've done?
I just sent a second request to the district for the previous data I'd requested relative to funds from the referendum and instructional budgeted funds versus actual expenditure funds. So we're still waiting on that because that'll certainly help inform the availability of funding sources for the district. But otherwise, I think based on the previous meetings and conversations and things that we've all discussed, we have all the information we need relative to the position of the committee members to move forward on our recommendations to the president.
Anybody have anything to add? I think we can all agree that the 6 period supplement, the additional period supplement, is a valuable structure to the district. So this is a great committee. I feel like we've done really great at reviewing all of the information that's available, all the forthcoming record requests that allows your end of the house to bring some items to the table during negotiations. And we certainly have food for thought on our end. Is there anything that you feel we need to add to our documentation, more conversations that need to be had to come to additional understandings? Justin?
I guess if the district could get some clarification from the appropriate higher ups as it relates to some of the discussion about the trade-off value and the implications for a school's local budget when they say have vacancies that they need to fill and ultimately fill through 6 period supplements. I had some back and forth emails briefly with district leadership trying to get a better understanding of the trade-off values, the options to principals, what are the implications. I know it had been said, and it seemed like there has to be a better way that if you're a principal and you've got 3 vacancies, that you got to come out of pocket to some degree to pay for the supplements to fill those vacancies with 6 periods. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of that because in our view, the principal and the principal's budget should see no kind of adverse consequence to filling those positions with the supplements and take away funds from other activities or things on campus. If I'm understanding the previous conversation. So we're just trying to get as much clarity as possible about whether it's a tough decision for administrators because they've got to fund or source some or all of the cost as it relates to having vacancies and filling them through 6 period supplements. We just need clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. That's a great point. Freddie?
I think to sum it up, Mr. Katz, I think that one of the best ways to put it is there's 2 different avenues that we go through to get to 6 period supplements. I just want to make sure that you have a clear, and Lisa, you can chime in to let me know if I'm capturing this correctly. So the one avenue we go through is trading off a position if we can't fill it, right? And so but we only get the value of it. So obviously, and you're aware that we get more sections out of trading off a position than if we were to hire a teacher. But usually a 6 period supplement is our last resort because we couldn't find it. A lot of times also we use those for one-offs. For example, I have Academy Art program, right? And I want to do 2, 2, and 2 for this program. I want to do 2 6th grade sections, 2 7th grade sections, 2 8th grade sections. This is a lot of the times where I find myself using 6 period supplement. I can't hire a teacher just for that one extra because it's 5 sections in the middle school. So I talk to her and I say, hey, I will limit your responsibilities outside of the classroom. If you can take on the 6th grade. And of course, she owns the program. It's her baby. So she's more than happy to do it. So I give her a 6, and then I get the 2, 2, and the 2 because the kids the sixth graders become seventh graders, so we have 2 sections the next year and 2 sections. It just always is 2 sections. So that's just an example. But when it comes to like next year, for me, I am fully staffed for next year, but I still have those one-off holes in my schedule. So so I'm gonna have to figure out how to purchase 6-period supplements next year, whether it come out of and the middle school doesn't have nearly the resources that the high school has when it comes to purchasing 6-period supplements, as far as other areas where we can trade off, right? Like supply money, etc., or even ACE money, all that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, I'm going to be scraping up. So the more the 6-period supplement costs, and I'm not saying we shouldn't raise it, I'm just saying it from the principal perspective, so you know that there is 2 angles of this. The more it costs, the more money I got to scrape up. And when you're talking especially internal funds, trading them, sending them to the district to buy these positions, it's expensive. So there's 2 different avenues. Like if I gain, for example, if I gain a unit at the 11th day count, right? Chances are it's very hard to fill those units that are acquired after the 11th day count. So a lot of times those do end up getting converted over to 6-period supplements at the middle school level. In my opinion, Lisa can chime in as well. But right now I don't have any vacancies. I've been fortunate enough to fill all my vacancies for next year. We gained a couple positions already. I filled them. So right now, but I still have that art class I got to fill. I have an IT class I got to fill. I have an algebra section I need to fill, but I only need 1 more. I don't need 5 more. And so that's where that kind of comes off, where it, depending which way the principal has to go, is how expensive it is or how impactful it is to the budget. So if the principal has to buy them, it does impact our other areas of our budget, whether it be internal accounts or whether it be trading off different little pots of money that we can find within our budget. And what usually, especially at the middle school level, we got to take a little from here and we got to take a little from here just to make one. And so there is that impact if you have to buy them directly out of other funds. But if you're trading them off, it just means the less number, which principals have become very, accustomed to. At one point it was 13 when we went up to $30 this year and went down to 11. So it did impact it to where it just means less number of 6-period supplements we get out of that position. So was that helpful? I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely appreciate that information. It's certainly not something that could be negotiated because it's the district's prerogative, but we certainly would advocate for the district to help principals not have to absorb the cost if possible, so that you don't have to trade off activities or student services that you're providing to get the extra sections you need to service the student's academic caseload or classwork. So okay. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with Philip, everything he said. For example, I only bought 1 section this year, and maybe we'll only buy 1 section next year from a teacher who actually asked for it in order to provide a more critical service and intensive reading for my autistic group, because those kids were kind of mixed in with everyone else. And he said, hey, if you get me a 6-period supplement, I can get like 10 of these students. It'd be so much better for them. I'm like, what a great idea. So sometimes it's not like we're just trading off to get more stuff. It's actually great ideas that we want to do, and the teacher wants to do. We're not voluntolding anybody. And in that case, if that goes up from $5,300 for 1 section this year to $8,000 to 1 section, whatever it is, I'll be searching for that money or not doing that program.
Okay, thank you.
Cartier, you had your hand up?
Yes. So I just had a quick question. Justin Gordon, maybe you can answer this for me. When was the last time that the 6-period supplement was increased? Like, how long has it been what it is?
This past year, it went up $5 from $25 to $30 per hour.
And before that?
Going back as far, I'll jump in here. Going back as far as when I did a 6-period supplement in the 2009 and 2010 school years, it was the same in those years as the amount before the recent increase.
You said 2009, correct?
I did.
Okay, and it's 2025. So, Philip, I promise you, I heard everything you said, and I get like the principals have to eat that money, and that's why I think Justin reached out to the district to see like, is there some kind of way that the district could fund it? But I don't think that raising something $5 in 16 years makes sense with the world that we're living in, with inflation and everything going on. It doesn't make sense to require the same amount of work and then give them a $5 raise from what Gordon had in 2009. So I think I understand what the principals are
I think
saying.
one thing you have to understand is I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I was just giving the background to further clarify what Mr. Katz was saying as to how it impacts a principal's budget. I'm not saying whether I disagree or not, just because I don't have that power when it comes to the district and the budget making decisions. But I just wanted to clarify so that he had a better understanding as you guys bring forward your proposal. When you guys bring it forward, if you have a better understanding of how it impacts how principals make the decisions. Like, for example, how Lisa said that she just may not, if it's too expensive next year, she just may not have that additional service for the student. We just wanted you guys to have that as you guys caucus together and come up with what you want to present to the district. No opinion on my part.
So I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So is what we want to propose to the district like kind of twofold, as in maybe we want to raise the 6-period supplements, but also take the onus off of the individual schools for paying for those supplements? If they're losing the teaching position and that money goes back to the district, why is that money not funding the 6-period supplement is what I'm curious about. Like, why is it on these schools to have to fund a position that they were not able to fill? Why not have the money that was allocated for that position be then like divided so that the schools don't have an issue of, oh, I can't provide the service because the 6-period costs so much more? It should be something that I would think our what we bring to the district would be twofold. Like, we want to pay 6-period supplements more, and we also want the district to help us fund that.
Justin, do you want to clarify that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I think what Principal Frey was saying earlier is that if there is a vacancy, they get a swap. They can swap for a number of positions. It's when there's no vacancies, but there's a demand for additional sections, or if there was some desire to thin out the existing sections. So instead of 35 kids per section, it went down to 30 or something like that.
Right. But why is that still on the onus of the school? Like, I know that we didn't have vacancies at Suncoast, but all of the math department had 6 classes. Or not all, but a lot of the math department had 6 classes. You know, it wasn't a vacancy, but it was, I think, a scheduling situation. You know, like, I don't know. I just feel like that still shouldn't be on the school to have to fund it. Not every school has a foundation funding able to fund these situations, you know, like it just doesn't seem equitable across every single campus to not have the district help fund 6-period supplements.
Ms.
No, I
Russell,
agree.
Ms. Russell, I would say in a 90% case, high school principals fund a 6-period supplement if they don't have any vacancies. The money they use is their ACE, Cambridge, extra money that comes in when students in high school pass ACE and Cambridge classes. So they can find money in that count. The middle schools do not have that. Do you agree with me, Phil?
I do.
Phil.
And I also want to point out, and I know that this is no surprise to you guys, that the state is proposing cutting those funds that high school principals use significantly, because they do use a lot of ACE and IB funds, and those funds are currently being proposed to be cut significantly, which would make this even, I'm just talking from your side of the house, would make this even more of an uphill battle. If that were the case. And then also, I just want to reiterate, and I have spoken to a lot of colleagues, and I know you guys hear one-offs. Most of the people who do 6-period supplements on my campus are asking for them. They're not we're not going out, and this is the middle school level, and the high school may be a little bit different, but they're asking for them. And then I spoke to high school and middle school colleagues alike. They're asking for them. So a lot of people like to just have the extra funds because and I find that it's my most efficient teachers who want them, because they have figured out how to efficiently keep up with their plans and their grades and everything like that. So we're, a lot of times we have the lens of that we're going at this like, and I do know that there are cases, don't get me wrong, that where people are being made to do them. I understand that. But at the end of the day, like everybody I spoke to, and I spoke to teachers too, like at other schools, and of course my teachers, just so I could have a better idea of the lens I would have for this group. And a lot of times, like you even just said, Lisa, he came to you and asked, if you got the money, I'll do this extra class. And the other thing to keep in mind is so we're given, like even in the real world, we're given a budget. Here's your budget. This is the amount of money you have, make it work. If we as principals want to do something above and beyond, which is what Lisa is doing right now and what I am doing next year, it's above and beyond what the district. It's either to make my classes smaller or to make a more intensive group like Lisa's doing, or to keep the continuity of the same teacher within an academy program. Those are the one-offs, but they're outside the realm of the budget that we're given. And I will say that our budgets, what we're given overall, is very workable, especially with class size amendment. One idea I did want to throw out too, if you guys are in a caucus and pitch to the district, you may want to pitch different ideas for middle and high, because their funding sources are different. Just some putting that out there.
So if we are talking about how things are funded and we are considering that AP and ACE and IB are possibly getting cut, that funding source, then I feel like that's a whole other conversation that has to happen. But what would the union then be trying to present to the district in regards to this 6th period supplement issue? Gordon and Justin, I'm wondering.
So Monica, we'll discuss that as a caucus for our own purposes at the conclusion of the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have anything else to add? Justin, I'll do some research on those items that you brought up, and I'll get that over to you with whatever information I'm able to obtain. That way you have that at your disposal. I believe that at this point we have reached a conclusion of this joint study, unless anybody else feels that we need to have another joint study session. But at least from the district perspective, I feel that we've received a lot of data, district-wide, statewide, to inform our decisions as we move into negotiations. Does everybody else feel the same way, or do you have an alternate opinion?
We'll make sure to follow up with Heather, and as soon as we get the extra data from Heather, then we'll get it to everyone on the committee as well, so that we can disseminate that out to everyone on the committee, and that you got it for discussion.
All right. Well, with that, I hope all of you have a great day. I'll be seeing a few of you in a little bit.
You too. Bye.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you all for your time with this committee. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dee, can you stay on for a minute? No?
Hey. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, Diane's a note taker, and you're still recording if you
Well,
want.
hold on. Let me stop my recording right now.